The world is on edge. Geopolitical tensions are rising and military forces are mobilizing at an alarming rate. Today we explore 10 countries that are actively preparing for war in 2025. From high-tech weaponry to strategic alliances, these nations are making moves that could change the course of history. Let's dive in. Coming at number 10, NATO and the EU are on high alert in 2025, with Russia's aggression, cybersecurity threats, and global instability driving massive military investments across Europe. Military buildup in Eastern Europe. NATO forces have expanded presence in Poland, the Baltics, and Finland, preparing for potential Russian aggression. Military drills near Russia's border have increased significantly. Cybersecurity and AI warfare. Europe is investing heavily in cyber defense, preparing for Russian and Chinese cyber attacks targeting energy grids, financial institutions, and military infrastructure. Germany and France, increasing defense budgets. Traditionally cautious about military expansion, Germany and France are now investing in advanced tanks, air defense systems, and joint European military projects in response to Russian threats. Expansion of NATO influence. Sweden and Finland officially joining NATO in 2023 has changed the security balance in Europe, making the alliance stronger, but also increasing tensions with Russia. Tensions in the Balkans. Rising instability in the Balkans, like Serbia-Kosovo tensions and Bosnia-Herzegovina political divisions, has led to concerns that Russia might exploit these conflicts to weaken NATO. With the Ukraine war ongoing and Russia growing more aggressive, NATO is preparing for a worst-case scenario in 2025, making Europe a critical hotspot in global military tensions. Number 9. Taiwan is at the center of one of the most dangerous flashpoints in the world, as China escalates military threats and prepares for a possible invasion. In response, Taiwan is rapidly strengthening its defenses in 2025. China's invasion threats increase. The Chinese military has intensified naval and air incursions around Taiwan, practicing simulated invasion scenarios. Analysts warn that China could attempt an invasion by 2027 or sooner if tensions continue to escalate. U.S. military support. The U.S. has increased military aid, providing Taiwan with advanced weaponry, including air defense systems, anti-ship missiles, and drone technology. The U.S. has also conducted joint military drills to deter a Chinese attack. Military modernization. Taiwan has been investing heavily in asymmetric warfare, focusing on advanced missile systems, cyber defense, and drones to counter China's larger military. Civilian military training. The Taiwanese government has expanded military training for civilians, preparing the population for possible urban resistance in case of a Chinese invasion. Naval and air defense upgrades. Taiwan is upgrading its fleet with stealth warships and fighter jets to defend against a Chinese blockade. With China ramping up military pressure, Taiwan's preparations for war are more critical than ever in 2025. A single miscalculation could lead to a catastrophic regional war. Number 8. Israel. Israel is facing one of its most volatile security environments in years, preparing for conflicts on multiple fronts in 2025. With threats from Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas, Israel is actively upgrading its military and intelligence operations. Iran's nuclear threat. Israel has repeatedly stated that it will not allow Iran to acquire nuclear weapons. If Iran crosses the nuclear threshold, Israel could launch preemptive strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, sparking a regional war. Gaza and West Bank unrest. Israel has intensified military operations against Hamas in Gaza and Palestinian militant groups in the West Bank, leading to heightened violence and security crackdowns. Hezbollah threat from Lebanon. Hezbollah, backed by Iran, has significantly expanded its missile arsenal, capable of striking deep into Israeli territory. Israeli airstrikes on Hezbollah targets in Syria and Lebanon have increased. Cyber warfare and AI integration. Israel is leading the way in AI-powered warfare, using advanced surveillance, cyber attacks, and autonomous drone technology to counter threats. Regional alliances. Despite tensions, Israel has strengthened ties with Arab nations like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, forming a strategic alliance against Iran. However, this has also made it a bigger target for Iranian-backed groups. With rising tensions and potential preemptive strikes on Iran, Israel is one of the most likely nations to engage in conflict in 2025. Number 7. Pakistan. Pakistan is in a precarious position. balancing tensions with both India and internal security threats while strengthening ties with China. In 2025, Pakistan is actively preparing for potential conflicts on multiple fronts. Pakistan and India have had decades of hostilities over Kashmir, with both nations engaging in border skirmishes and military buildups. Pakistan has increased troop presence along the line of control, raising fears of another confrontation. Pakistan possesses one of the fastest-growing nuclear arsenals in the world. If tensions with India escalate, both countries' nuclear capabilities could make the situation extremely volatile. As a key partner in China's Belt and Road Initiative, Pakistan is receiving significant military and economic aid from Beijing. Joint military drills and arms deals signal deeper military cooperation. Pakistan is facing growing threats from the Pakistani Taliban and other militant groups, leading to increased counterterrorism operations. However, internal instability could weaken its military effectiveness in a full-scale war. Pakistan is modernizing its navy with Chinese-built warships and submarines to counter India's growing naval power. With ongoing tensions with India, internal militant threats, and increasing reliance on China, Pakistan's military actions in 2025 could have major regional consequences. Number 6. India. India, one of the world's fastest-growing military powers, is preparing for possible conflicts on multiple fronts in 2025. With rising tensions with both China and Pakistan, India is rapidly modernizing its military and strengthening alliances. Clashes in the Himalayas between Indian and Chinese forces have increased, leading to military buildups along the line of actual control. India has deployed advanced Rafale fighter jets, new missile systems, and additional troops to the region. India has deepened defense cooperation with the US, Japan, and Australia under the Quad Alliance. Joint naval exercises in the Indian Ocean are aimed at countering China's influence. Skirmishes between Indian and Pakistani forces in Kashmir have intensified. Both nations have nuclear capabilities, making any escalation a potential global crisis. India is developing a blue water navy, increasing the number of aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines to challenge China's dominance in the Indian Ocean. India is focusing on self-reliance, producing indigenous fighter jets, tanks, and missile systems, while becoming a major arms exporter. With unresolved border disputes and increasing regional tensions, India is preparing for potential conflicts with China and Pakistan, making 2025 a critical year for South Asian stability. Number 5. North Korea. North Korea remains one of the most unpredictable military threats. Under Kim Jong-un's leadership, the country has aggressively expanded its missile and nuclear programs while deepening ties with Russia and China. North Korea has tested new intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of reaching the US mainland, with advanced maneuvering technology that makes interception difficult. Satellite images suggest North Korea may conduct another nuclear test, further defying international sanctions. Pyongyang has supplied Russia with artillery shells and other munitions for use in Ukraine, in exchange for military technology and economic support. North Korea has also received advanced missile guidance systems from China. North Korea has resumed live-fire military drills near the South Korean border, simulating invasions. Pyongyang has also threatened to attack Japan if it continues strengthening military ties with the US. North Korean hackers have been targeting South Korean and Western financial institutions, stealing cryptocurrency to fund their weapons programs. With ongoing provocations, another war on the Korean peninsula is not out of the question in 2025. A miscalculated missile launch or border skirmish could easily escalate into a full-scale conflict. Number 4. Iran. Iran is rapidly increasing its military capabilities, positioning itself as a major regional power, while challenging US and Israeli influence in the Middle East. 2025 could see Iran push its military ambitions even further. Iran has significantly increased uranium enrichment, bringing it closer to nuclear weapon capability. Western intelligence agencies warn that Tehran could be only months away from producing a nuclear bomb. Iran's ballistic missile program is among the most advanced in the region, with long-range missiles capable of hitting Israel, US bases in the Middle East, and even parts of Europe. Additionally, Iran has supplied Russia with advanced drones for use in Ukraine, proving its technological advancements. Iran continues to support Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthi rebels in Yemen, and various militia groups in Iraq and Syria. These proxy forces have been conducting attacks on US and Israeli targets, escalating tensions. The Iranian Navy and Revolutionary Guard have increased harassment of U.S. and allied ships in the Persian Gulf, raising fears of a naval clash. Iran has also been conducting joint military drills with China and Russia, further solidifying its alliances. Iran has intensified cyber attacks on critical infrastructure in Israel, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia, disrupting energy supplies and financial institutions. With Israel and the U.S. warning that they will not allow Iran to develop a nuclear weapon, the possibility of preemptive strikes or a full-scale conflict in 2025 is growing. Number 3, Russia. Russia is already at war in Ukraine, but 2025 could see even greater escalation, not just in Ukraine but across multiple fronts. The Kremlin is ramping up its military production and forging stronger alliances to counter NATO. Despite heavy losses, Russia is doubling down, drafting more troops, expanding drone warfare, and launching hypersonic missile strikes on critical Ukrainian infrastructure. The potential for a full-scale NATO intervention remains a growing risk. With Finland and Sweden joining NATO, Russia is fortifying its borders, conducting military drills in the Arctic, and deploying nuclear-capable Iskander missiles in Kaliningrad. Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea are coordinating more closely than ever, sharing military technology and conducting joint drills. Putin has repeatedly hinted at using nuclear weapons if NATO escalates its involvement in Ukraine. Tactical nuclear warheads are reportedly being positioned near European borders. Russia is increasing its cyber attacks on Western infrastructure, targeting power grids, banking systems, and military networks. With the Ukraine war dragging on and tensions with NATO reaching new heights, Russia is preparing for prolonged military engagements that could reshape Europe. Number 2, China. China's military ambitions are no longer just regional, they are global. The Chinese Communist Party is accelerating its military buildup with a clear goal: overtaking the US as the dominant superpower. Chinese military drills around Taiwan have become more aggressive, simulating amphibious landings and full-scale invasions. The People's Liberation Army has significantly expanded its naval and air force capabilities, preparing for a potential strike in the near future. The People's Liberation Army Navy now has the world's largest fleet, with new aircraft carriers, destroyers, and nuclear submarines patrolling the South China Sea. China has successfully tested hypersonic missiles capable of evading U.S. missile defenses, posing a direct threat to U.S. military bases in the Pacific. China is expanding its global reach by establishing military bases in Africa, the Middle East, and even considering a potential base in the Atlantic. Beijing is strengthening ties with Moscow and Tehran, conducting joint military exercises and economic partnerships that challenge Western dominance. As China pushes its territorial claims in the South China Sea and threatens Taiwan, the possibility of a military confrontation in 2025 is growing. Number 1, United States. The U.S. remains the world's most powerful military force, but it's not resting on its laurels. In 2025, Washington is dramatically ramping up its military spending with a strong focus on hypersonic missiles. The U.S. is in a race with China and Russia to perfect hypersonic weapons that can strike at Mach 5+ speeds. The Pentagon is investing billions in autonomous drones, AI-powered decision-making, and robotic combat units. Tensions with China over Taiwan have led to massive naval deployments, including new warships and expanded bases in Guam, the Philippines, and Japan. With Finland and Sweden joining, NATO forces are conducting more joint military exercises than ever before, preparing for potential conflicts with Russia. The U.S. is heavily investing in space-based defenses, ensuring satellite security and the ability to neutralize enemy satellites in wartime. With China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea becoming more aggressive, the U.S. is preparing for multi-front conflicts, potentially making 2025 one of the most dangerous years in modern history. The world is more divided than ever. With rising military budgets, shifting alliances, and unpredictable leaders, 2025 could be a turning point in history. Do you think war is inevitable? Or can diplomacy still save us? Let us know in the comments. If you find this video interesting, subscribe and turn on the notifications bell for more videos like this. Thanks.